Hey there, real estate pro. You ready to keep growing your business? Well, you found KGCI Real Estate on Air's more than 1,500 on-demand podcasts packed with actionable strategies, expert advice, and tips from top-performing agents. But if you want to keep growing, first, make sure you subscribe to this podcast right now so you don't miss a single episode. Then, take your business to that next level by downloading the KGCI Real Estate on Air mobile app. Available for iPhone and Android, it's the perfect companion wherever you go. Just search KGCI in the Apple App Store or Google Play, and let's build success together.
So this is very important. You've got to be selling. This is the whole key of a pre-listing package, and everything that you're putting together is to sell. You're selling, which normally I tell you not to sell, okay? Because once you sell them on the idea, what are you selling, by the way? You're selling the idea of hiring you. That's it. You're interviewing for a job, and there are other applicants. You want to run for mayor of, I live on Ancient Oak Way. I want to run for mayor of 304 Ancient Oak Way. In fact, my neighbor's thinking about selling 306 Ancient Oak Way. Okay, I just talked to him this weekend. I want to run for mayor. I got to put in all my credentials. Okay, well, I don't want to be bragging about that's dumb. I'm just going to say it. That's just dumb. Okay, so anything that you can use, and I'll show you how to build out things as we go through the series that you'll be able to use as ammunition. But if you don't have it, you go up. Okay, if you don't have it, you go up. That's all I want you to remember. Welcome to the Success with Listings podcast, where we help you get success in the real estate game the easy way. Now you can get off the roller coaster of feast and famine and out of the rat race of competing with every other agent in town. Hi, I'm Nolly Williams. I took over 1,000 listings during my first 10 years in the real estate game, and in this podcast, I show you how to have success with listings. Let's go. So let's go to the first. Let's go to the first one, because the first one actually has a list of all the documents in it. And the first document is going to be your cover letter. Okay, it's so important. Now, when do you throw it in the chat for me? When do you use your pre-listing package? Just throw it in the chat. When do you give a prospect? When would you guess that you would give a prospect your pre-listing package? Yeah, Miss Carroll says before you meet with them. You know, Michelle says before the listing appointment. So good. You guys are so good. So and ideally you would want to give it to them the day before. It could even be a few days before. All right. What I've always done is I've always dropped mine off in this sort of a gaudy yellow envelope that looks kind of like this. All right. If you guys can see that, let me stop my share for a minute. So it's a yellow envelope. I stopped recommending people buy these because you have to order a minimum quantity of 500, and some people just aren't crazy like that, like me. But it's a yellow envelope. If you can, I bought these on Uline, Uline, uline.com. They only sell them in quantities of 500 or more. Okay, but I'm that guy, right? That I get 500 at a time, right? But if you can find them somewhere else, you probably can at this point. You can find different colors as well. They have gold, they have black. And essentially, this is clear. So this is essentially nothing more than a clear envelope. Okay. And we'll go through the cover sheet. I'm going to do the cover of this last, because I can see that people get kind of caught. You saw how I did the cover of the book as the last installment. I'm going to do the cover of the pre-listing package as the last one, because sometimes people get a little hung up on that. It almost doesn't matter, if you will. But whenever I would print mine, I would always have them printed double-sided and all that. That really doesn't matter anymore. Okay. What matters is the content. And you actually don't have to print these. You can do them digitally. I highly recommend that you print them, put it in a envelope. The reason I use yellow is because when this was on your doorstep, You try to get it off of there as fast as possible. Like, what is this? Like, what is this? And of course, my pre-listing pack, what goes in a pre-listing package? Let me quiz you on that real quick. What goes into this envelope? Okay. That's just can I have a link on Google Sheets? Okay. So Mieko came a little late to the class. Yes, Mieko, you will have a link to all of these Google documents. However, we will release them as I teach them. Okay. That almost rhymed a little bit. We'll release as I teach. So as if I get through 3 documents today, I'm going to release those 3 to you. If we get 3 next week, I'm going to release those 3. Eventually, you'll have them all. Okay. But I need them right now today. No, you're not going to get them all today. Now, if you have my pre-listing package, which Mieko, you have it already, you've already got all these documents. But now I've converted everything to Google Docs, which I think is better. I just like it. I don't know. I don't know if it's better. I just like it better. So nobody has answered my question. What goes into a pre-listing? Okay, Michelle's going, she says introduction, marketing plan, testimonies. What call? Okay, good, good. That's a lot of detail, Michelle. Thank you so much for that. That's more than I was looking for, but that's really good. Okay, so let me answer the process. The buying process does not go on a pre-listing package. No. The seller checklist, yeah. Okay, so what goes in a pre-listing? What goes in this envelope is the question. Is number one, your pre-listing package. Number two, your book. Okay. And then number 3, we used to do sort of like a pre-listing video. You talk about outdated, okay? Now you would just put like a QR code to your pre-listing video. Yes, we're going to make a pre-listing video where each one of you is going to have a pre-listing video, okay, by the time we're done with this series. And don't get scared. It's easy. It's easier than you think. All right, so let's get into what each of these documents are and why they're there. And yeah, Carol meant to say selling process. Okay. You're stuck on buyers, Carol. We gotta reset your mind here a little bit. I get it. I get it. All right, so let's get back to where we were, shall we? Yes. All right, so the first thing you're gonna have is a cover sheet. Now, let me go through mine and this is just a letter. So remember, you have not met the seller yet. You've talked to them over the phone. You've done the preliminary interview over the phone. You've done the questionnaire that I teach, and you've got all their information. Excuse me. Now you're jumping in and you're sending them this pre-listing package as something that they receive on their doorstep the day before you meet with them, at least the day before. Okay. So they get to open it up and read a nice letter. Hi there. I'm excited that you are considering listing your home with the Nolly team. I want you to know that my team and I will do everything possible to achieve the successful sale of your home in the least amount of time. See, that's all people want. They want their home sold with the least amount of aggravation, and they want the most money. Okay. So this really it pushes them toward their goal. It gets them to see the goal at the very beginning. They want a successful sale, they want it in the least amount of time, and they want to have the most money in their pocket. Boom. I've already checked all 3 boxes for them. Okay. You've checked all 3 boxes for them. Now you don't have to use my letter. I'm just saying that I'm just deconstructing how I wrote this. So we invite you to join our success list. You see what I said? I invite you to join our success list of more than 1,000 Austin area sellers who have successfully sold their home by allowing us to utilize our highly effective marketing systems and experience. Now, if you have not sold 10 homes or 1,000 homes or 100 homes, what would you do here? What would you do differently here? And you can unmute yourself. What would you do differently? I hear somebody.
Include what Mentorship Masters has done.
Exactly, exactly. Just point the way up. Good point, Bradford. So if you've got and even I mean I've had I had one person, and this is not something that I would always recommend, but I had one person that was so brand new that I said, look, here's how it works. If you can talk about yourself, talk about yourself. Okay. People want to know, oh, I'm bragging. Yes, that's what you're doing. You're okay. Listen to me now. This is sales. Okay. What is sales? Sales is finding out what people want and making it easy for them to get it. That's what sales is. Find out what people want and make it easy for them to get it. This is sales. Okay. Now, this is the one time in your life where a prospect is expecting you to sell them. Now, who does anybody want to be sold? Remember, I've taught you guys this before. Everybody wants to buy. Nobody wants to be sold. And say again, everybody wants to buy. You bought something yesterday. I bet you did. Raise your hand if you bought something yesterday on Amazon, or you went to the store, you went to the grocery store. Everybody wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold. Okay. Now, this is the one exception to that rule. Okay. When you are on a listing appointment, they expect you to sell them, because you're going to sell. I'm hiring a salesperson to sell my house. I want to see how good you sell. Well, I don't want to really talk about myself very much. Oh, well, that means you're probably not going to talk about my house, very much. You're probably not going to talk about all the cool stuff I did to this house. Why would I even show it to you? If you can't even sell me you, how can you sell me this? Or how can you sell somebody else this? I don't believe you. Next. Okay. Now, this is mentorship. Oh, by the way, I didn't even you saw how I slipped that in. You saw how I changed the name this week, Mentorship Masters Academy. So everybody here, this is not I'm not the guru. Yeah, in a way I am, but it's not like, hey, everybody has to follow what Nolly said. No, we're all learning from each other. Okay, we're all masters here, right? So this is very important. You've got to be selling. This is the whole key of a pre-listing package, and everything that you're putting together is to sell. You're selling, 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 which normally I tell you not to sell. Okay. Because once you sell them on the idea, what are you selling, by the way? You're selling the idea of hiring you. That's it. You're interviewing for a job, and there are other applicants. You want to run for mayor of, I live on Ancient Oak Way. I want to run for mayor of 304 Ancient Oak Way. In fact, my neighbor's thinking about selling 306 Ancient Oak Way. Okay, I just talked to him this weekend. I want to run for mayor. I got to put in all my credentials. Okay, well, I don't want to be bragging about that's dumb. I'm just going to say it. That's just dumb. Okay, so anything that you can use, and I'll show you how to build out things as we go through the series that you'll be able to use as ammunition. But if you don't have it, you go up. Okay, if you don't have it, you go up. That's all I want you to remember. So, but Nolly, I haven't sold 100 homes. Okay, well, how many homes has your upline sold? If you're at EXP, okay, you're somewhere else, you're part of a group, you're part of an organization, or somebody recruited you and sponsored you. How many have they sold? Okay. So now we use the word we, okay. And then, all right, so how you don't have a really good organization? Oh, your sponsor sucks. Okay, I get it. Okay, all right, no problem. Now, now we gotta keep going up. Okay, now, you're with EXP Realty. Okay, cool. Well, how many homes has EXP sold in your city in the last year as a company? Oh, I can do that. Why not? We used to do it all the time at Remax. Remax has sold da 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 da. Corporate does it. Okay, so now you're like, hey, all you got to do is go into your MLS and just look, hey, how many homes, or just call your broker. Hey, I need a list of how many homes have we sold here in Dayton, Ohio, last year. Oh, why do you need that? I just need it. We sold 2,400. Okay, cool. Now I'm coming in, I'm saying we've sold 2,400 homes here. Okay. Now, if you're with a small company, you're not with a big company and you can't, right? Then you keep going up. How far up do you go? Just keep going up. I had one guy, he was so new that he had to go all the way, and he wasn't with a good company, he wasn't with a big name, none of that. So he just went all the way up to the MLS. Now that's bad when you got to go that high up, but sometimes it happens. So his thing was, how did we structure that? My colleagues or my our association sold over 1,200 homes. Okay, that was all, because he's part of the association. Are you part of an association? Raise your hand if you're part of an association. What does association mean? You associate with other, you're part of other, yeah, okay. Everybody's part of an association. Okay. All right. So our association sold, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So you always have the ability to put something there. Okay. So don't tell me you don't. But not only I haven't, can you guys be creative, please? All right. Has anybody ever heard of creativity? Now, I'm not talking about lying. So you always have to put it in context with what it is. Okay. So, but yeah, Jackie, it's funny, huh? But some of y'all just don't know how to get creative. Okay. Our association has sold da 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 da, whatever that is. Okay. So we invite you. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually doing an invitation. I'm saying, hey, I invite you to be a part of our success list, okay, of more than 1,000 Austin area sellers who successfully, see how many times I use the word success here? That's a lot, okay? Successfully sold their homes by allowing us to utilize our highly effective marketing systems and experience. Okay. Now you don't have experience, okay, but does your broker have experience? Does your sponsor have experience? Okay. So you're always going up. Okay. Now in this packet, I've compiled some helpful and essential information, all geared toward the goal. There it is, that word again, of a successful sale. Here's what's included. And then I put a list of all the documents. Now, the pre-listing package itself is really only these documents here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The rest of this is all homework. Okay. And these are like tips. We won't spend a lot of time on those, on the tips, because those are just like tip sheets. Like, hey, here's some of the things that I recommend you do, da 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 da. Okay. And that's just a big time saver. We'll talk about that. You'll notice that this packet has a few homework assignments for you. Yikes. Seriously. This information will help us achieve the maximum price in the least amount of time. So please take the time to fill out these pages and return them to us. Onward to a successful sale. And then I have a little PS here, which has the word success again in it. All right. So, sales is psychology, and that's all you're essentially, I'm programming them to list with me. It's a program. Okay. That's all it is. Even by reading this letter by itself, they're excited. I mean, they start, okay, here's what's included: the Nolly Team's sales system, real results, seller success stories, special report, top 4 reasons homes don't sell. Oh, I want to know about that. Agent interview sheet. Okay. The top 10 questions to ask any agent before you list your home. Use this doc if you plan to interview more than one agent. Okay. Top 10 reasons to trust the sale of your home to the Nolly team. You don't want to assume that they're going to trust. And I learned something interesting last week on our class together. Some of you guys, when you got into business, some of y'all, I won't say guys, because I know we got a variety. You know it's a generic term, but some of y'all, back in Texas, I could say it like that. But some of y'all assumed that your family would just work with you. And I don't mean to laugh about it. But I did the same thing. I was like, man, this is my family. They, what's up? These are my friends. See, all my friends knew me. I was in the music business, but I was doing Christian rap music. Well, what's that got to do with selling houses, man? I don't know. I don't trust you with my house. So I had to realize that the ones that really I needed to gain the trust were even my own friends and family. They're the ones that are going to trust you the least. Why? Because they know you the best. And they don't know you to be a big, home seller. They don't know you that way. Okay. So don't hate on them. Don't judge them. That's just the way it is. Just work with it. So even some of these tools, a lot of these tools that I'm putting together are going to be just for your family, for your friends, just to get their mind straight so that they can start referring you business. Because a lot of them won't refer you business because they don't really believe in you right now. And I hate to say it that way. All right, so seller homework. Why my home is special, my home's upgrades, uh, seller homework, property info sheet for the MLS. Now, by the way, let me see if I have a copy of this. Yeah. Let me just go through the rest of it. My top tips on preparing your home for sale and my top tips on showing your house or showing your home. Now, technically, we should use the word house here instead of the word home. I don't go that far. But a lot of people will tell you to use the word house instead of home because we're trying to detach emotion. Because right now, if it's your home, it's emotion. If it's a house, it's less emotional. So you could change that out if you want to. I didn't bother, but house would probably be a little bit better term. So what I want to show you, so that's the cover letter. So you will get the cover letter this week. But I want to show you the homework packet. So the way I've always done it, the homework packet, I've always made it separate, okay? And it's 4 pages. We'll go through them. I'm not going to distract you with it now. 4 pages, and I print them in this yellow paper, okay? And I do that so that it'll stand out in the pre-listing package. And I staple it separately. It's a separate staple document and include it in that envelope. Now, whenever I was going on a listing appointment, my assistant would call out and say, hey Daniel, Daniel De Jesus, he's going to be coming out to your house, and he's and she would always pump me up like, oh, I'm telling you what, Daniel's going to get it done. He's if I don't know if you've looked him up, but this guy is really good at selling homes. By the way, I just want to remind you that there's homework, there's a little bit of homework to do. You want to make the most money possible, right, on this sale? Oh, you do? Okay, cool. Well, what we found is that 98% of our sellers that make the most money the ones that make the most money, they're the ones that actually fill the homework out. So you don't want to be that seller that doesn't do it and ends up losing out. Okay. So in order for Daniel to completely understand your situation and to get you the most money, we're going to need the seller homework filled out. So you'll have that filled out. Okay, great. We're going to need the seller homework filled out and 2 keys. You only have 1 key. Okay. Daniel's going to need 2 keys. Oh, you can get another key by tomorrow. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. So just have the homework packet and 2 keys ready. All right. So that was the call the day before. Now, the day of that morning, now if you don't have an assistant, you are one. Okay. You've heard that before, right, Michelle? You already know. I know. I'm just kind of pushing it in. I know it's a sore spot right now. Michelle's building her. She's at one of those spots where we all get where we're in overwhelm. We like, I need somebody today to start helping me with some of this stuff. So the day of, here's how the day of call goes. It's like, hey, ring, ring, da, da, da. Hey, it's Barbara again. Calling for Daniel. Oh yeah, yeah. Daniel's going to be there at 2 o'clock today. He's super excited. We've already looked up all the information in your house. We know we can get it sold. Daniel's going to do great. By the way, do you have your homework packet ready? Oh, you don't. Oh, well, he's going to need that homework packet filled out. Yeah, you got the 2 keys. Okay, cool, cool. You got the 2 keys, but now we just need the homework packet filled out. So have the homework packet and 2 keys by the time Daniel arrives. He'll be there at 2. Can you do that for me? Okay, you'll do that. Great. Boom. Now, what happens when you get to the house? They've already reminded them twice. When they get to the house, what happens, Daniel? They got the homework packet. You walk in the front door, you see the homework packet because they don't want Barbara to call again, right? They got the homework packet filled out and two keys sitting on the counter. What's that mean? You muted. What's up? Talk to me.
Now you probably got that listing
It's done.
locked in.
It's done. You already got it, right? So a lot of these, the psychology behind a lot of these pieces that I put together for you is it's just so good, but it just works. It's simple, but it works. Okay. They went through the whole homework packet. I mean, they're not going to try to fill this out for somebody else. They're like, because it's a packet. It's information, right? And it's information you need. And I tell them, I have Barbara tell them, hey, it's going to take about 20 minutes, but don't worry about it. You want the most money possible. It's probably one of the best 20 minutes you've ever spent. Okay, it's going to be to do this. So that really helps you out. And a lot of times when I walk in, if I see the homework packet, I use my 2-question listing appointment. Have I taught y'all that? Anybody know the 2-question listing appointment? So it goes like this. Thank you, Daniel. Thanks. Let's give Daniel a round of applause. Thank you for playing. So now we're gonna move to Bradford. I walk in, I see so Bradford's already filled out the homework packet, and you got 2 keys sitting there for me. I say, oh wow. And then you know what I do? I pick up the homework right away. Okay. And because here's the reason, it's psychology. Remember, I told you guys it's all psychology. No matter how old you think you are, the truth of the matter is you're only 3 to 4 years old. Every single person is 3 or 4. There's not a person in this room right now that's not 3 or 4 years old. I guarantee you. And if you don't think so, I can get you to go to 3 or 4 real quick. Okay. I remember one time, Bradford, were you ever at Keller Williams? I don't know if
Yeah.
you. No. Okay.
No.
So I remember one time. I was hanging out because I got recruited to Keller Williams by Gary Keller. Okay, I was the number one realtor in Austin that year. It's my 4th year in the business. Okay, I was number one out of like almost 10,000 agents. My production was number one as a solo agent. So Gary's office called me. I was at Remax, I love Remax, and was tried to recruit me. And so Gary went through the whole thing, they could do this and that. And I'm a trainer, I'm a teacher. No matter what I am, I teach. I love to teach. And so when there was nothing he could do to recruit me until he started talking about teaching. He was like, well, what do you want to do in the next 3 to 5 years? I said, man, I want to be giving back. I want to be paying it forward, and I want to be training. He said, well, if you join me, you could be doing that tomorrow. You don't have to wait 3 to 5 years. I said, what's up? Let's talk about it. So that's how he got me. Well, so I used to spend a lot of time with Gary and during the early days. And you would go down, they call him he was in the dungeon, they call it. So you walk down and he's in like almost like a basement type thing. And they kind of relegated him there. This real talk, I'm just being honest with you. Gary's personality is really it's kind of robotic. It's very non-personal, not very personable at all. And that's just how he's wired. If you look at his AVA and his disc, you'll see, I mean, he's just basically a robot. He doesn't have that emotional piece. And some people have that, and I'm not saying he's on the spectrum. I'm just saying that I've met several people with Asperger's that they're socially awkward. They're just not, that type of person that's very, friendly or anything like that. So he would say things with no filter. So finally, the company realized that probably the best place to have him was in the basement, away from people. Okay, that was the best because he was a genius, but with people he wasn't. Okay, so anyway, he went through this whole thing where he asked me like, okay, what are the main things you want? What do you? I don't even know where I'm going with this story. Why was I even telling this story, Bradford? Anyway, it's a good story though,
Pick
right?
up the package.
Yeah, well, let me get back to my first story I was talking about thank you, Paul, for putting Bradford in the spotlight. I I got so down the sometimes does that ever happen to y'all? Maybe it's just because I'm 55.
Oh, on
You
a
get
regular
so down
basis,
the
Tony.
rabbit hole on a story. It's like, why am I even telling you this story? Let me tell you about my two question listing appointment. We'll get back to the story in a minute. The two question listing appointment is this. I see the homework packet's already filled out. Okay. And the two keys. I walked in Bradford's house. And I was talking about everybody's a 3-year-old. That's what I was talking about. Okay. So I was in this meeting with Gary one time. It was about maybe 10 of us. And Diana was in the meeting. Man, I'm trying to tell you, he went to the three, he went 3-year old real quick. Okay. It was some issue, okay, that was going on. And I've done it too. I've done it with my wife, I've done it with other people. I've gone 3 years old real quick. Like, why did I do that? I'm more emotionally mature now, but I could probably still go 3 years old if the right circumstances happen. Okay. So everybody's still 3, 4, 5 years old. I don't care if you're a billionaire. I've been around billionaires that's 3 years old. It's a 3-year-old. Okay. I've been around multimillionaires, millionaires. They're three. I look at them as if they're anywhere from 3 to 5 years old. That's what they are, and that's how I look at everybody. So what I do, I walk, and this is weird. That the reason I even brought that up is because it's weird. This technique I'm going to teach you is strange. But what I do is I walk in, I pick up the homework off Bradford's table, and I get giddy about it. Like I walk over, I pick it up, and I'm excited because I really do want this homework, by the way. And I say, wow, features that we really enjoy. And I start smiling. I'm like, man, this is great. The type of person I think would love my home. Wow, this is really good. Bradford, you did a great job with this, man. Oh, wow. Look at these upgrades. Man, Bradford, this is fantastic. I'm going to have such a great time. Now, I spend about 1 or 2 minutes doing this. Okay. Now, why do I do this? I'm looking at the homework and I'm excited. Now, what would most agents do? I'm going to tell you what, because they're not trained in psychology. What most agents would do, they walk in, they've already had their assistant reach out numerous times about how important this is. They walk in and they see the homework packet. They either won't acknowledge it or they'll look at it like, okay, oh, thanks for doing the homework. Now let's talk about that. No, hold on a second. Wait. You just missed an opportunity. Now I'm going through here and after about 30 or 40 seconds, you know what all of them do? They're smiling. They're grinning from ear to ear. Okay. Because it's just like when you were 4 or 5 years old and you drew a picture or something like that, you got a gold star on it. What'd you do? What was the first thing you did? Yep, you ran home. You told mommy, look what I got. And what happened to it? It went up on the refrigerator. Okay. We're still like that, guys. We're still like that. And so I'm like, man, this is it. So I spend time with them going through the homework. What did that do? I like your homework. You gotta hire me. I like your homework. That puts me like mommy and daddy. Okay. Now it also puts me in a position of authority because I asked you to do something, you did it, and then now I'm looking at it. Now you're excited about it. Now you're looking at me with more of an authority type. See how I did that? I just established authority. It's a very subtle way, but what happens later is when I ask you to do something, you're going to do it. You're going to do it very quickly. Okay. Because it's already subconsciously, I've already built that into you that Uncle Nolly will probably be disappointed if you don't do this, and he will accept you. See, we're tribal people. We're tribal. That's how we are. That's how our brain works. So I go through and I'm like, wow, let me look. Oh, wow. I didn't realize you had, oh man, this is nice. So I spent about, it's awkward when you first start doing it, but sellers love it. Okay. And it's the right thing to do. I mean, they did something for you, you do something for them. Now, the two question listing appointment is this. So I walked in, Bradford had his homework already ready. He got the two keys ready. I pick up one key. I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, this is nice. Oh, you just got these made too. I appreciate you doing that for me. See how I did that? I appreciate you doing that for me. Okay. I'm assuming you're going to list with me. Then I say, Bradford, based on everything I see here, you really want to, you want to get your home sold, don't you? And I start shaking my head. You really want to sell it, don't you, Bradford?
Yep,
Yeah.
sure
Bradford,
do.
would you like me to handle all the details for you?
Well, tell me what those details are, Nolly.
You
Where
see
do
what
we
I'm
start?
saying? Now, Bradford's playing hard to get. Let me tell you let me tell you what 60 to 70% of sellers will say. I'm telling you, 60 to 70% of them, this is what they're going to do. Now, by the way, what percentage of sellers interview one agent before they list? That's just a little quiz question for you guys. Not for you, Bradford, just for anybody. What percentage of sellers interview one agent, or what? Let me put it this way: what percentage interview more than one agent before they list? Bradford's thrown in the chat, even though he's right there. That's funny. Very low, yeah. So 70%. Let me just tell you this: 70% of all sellers will list with the first person they meet. Okay. 70%. So if you're having a meeting with them, there's very high chance that they're going to list with you. Only 30% will even meet with more than one person. And what I'm doing is I'm actually cutting out the 30% with sort of this strategy, if you will. So the question is, um, you want to get your home sold, don't you? It sounds like you really want to get it sold, but it sounds like you want to get it sold for the most money possible, don't you? Yeah. Nobody can say no to that. And then the second question, would you like me to handle all the details for you? Is that
Sure,
what
let's
you
do it.
did? Yeah. And most of them would do a hybrid. They'll say, yeah, I think we would like you to handle all the details. Okay, well, let's just look at what's involved. Okay. Now some will tell you, uh, like Bradford did, 30% of them will say, well, we think we might like you, but we're interviewing agents. Okay, 3 out of 10 will do that, but 7 out of 10 will say, yeah, we want you to handle the details for us. What does it look like? Okay. So now just by them telling me that, what did it do to my listing appointment?
Shorten it.
Cut it in half.
Yep.
Cut it in half. Because right now I already know, oh, you want me to handle all the details. All right, let's sit down. Let me take a quick run through the house and then let's talk about price. Okay. Now that's strategy. I'm going more into strategy now, but the point is the cover letter is what led me here, is that they see that you have a system for getting their home sold. That's the confidence that you're giving them just from the cover letter alone. Okay. Now let me see what's the next document. I don't let's look at this next document. I'm weaving a lot of other things in here. So hopefully I know you're getting more value than just uh man, he only covered the cover letter. That's pretty crazy. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to real results. Okay. And and I think we'll just cover those two today, and then we'll okay, so I'm gonna open number two is well, actually number two, I don't even have them in the right order. It really doesn't matter. As you notice here, they're bulleted. Okay. But in the pre-listing package itself, you don't have to have these in that order. I do kind of I like to have the letter, which is this, and then I like to go into my marketing plan. And then I like to go into success stories. Okay. And by the way, when we talk about success stories, um, I don't call them um, testimonials. Okay. A lot of people call them testimonials. We'll talk about that next week when we get into that. But why would you think to not call it a testimonials? Anybody got any thoughts on that? Most people still call it testimonials, right? Like most realtors have testimonials. You go to their website, they say testimonials, all that. Most people still have that. The reality is that terminology is not really used anymore. Like if we call them reviews, Is that correct? Right? Now we call them reviews. So if I go if I go to a restaurant and I look up and I'm on Google and it says testimonials, like nobody really uses that word. If I so the hard part about that is that it's outdated and it's if I say, hey, Bradford, can I share with you some review, some testimonials from what does that make you immediately think? Right? Just a little bit of you is thinking, oh, testimonials. What is, but if I say, hey, Bradford, can I share with you a few case studies of other sellers that have been in your same situation that have that we've worked with? Can I share a couple case studies? That goes to a different place in your mind, right? If I say now, even if I use the word reviews, it's better. But I like the word results better. Can I share with you a few results that we've had in the past? And then I'm going into the testimonials, right? But that's going to be, we'll talk about that next week. Here's the marketing plan. Let's spend a little time on this. So this is I call it the unique Nolly team sales system. Now, what is that? That's just the name that I came up with for a marketing plan. Okay. I could say, hold on. Let me see if it'll let me. It's yelling at me. So I could say, hold on. I could say, I could just say marketing plan, right? Let me delete that. Marketing plan or knowledge marketing plan. That's okay. I don't hate it. All right. But if I say it's the unique, see how I use the word unique in there? The unique Nolly team sales system. Okay. Who else has that? Who else has the unique Nolly team sales system? Anybody? Nobody. Now, who else is doing all the same stuff I do? Probably there's other people that are doing it. I'm sure there's others. But since I name my process, I can say that nobody uses my sales because it's my system. I created it. This is a sort of a combination of things that I do. Now, what's the purpose of the marketing? What's the purpose of marketing the home? We talked about this on a previous class. Anybody want to tackle that one? And this is very confusing to a lot of people. I'm going to say, um, even seasoned veterans get very confused. But if you've read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, you understand there's only one reason that you market a home, and that's really there's two reasons. Number one, because sellers expect you to. See, sellers believe that marketing their home is what's going to get it sold. How many of y'all believe that? I don't. Now, obviously, it has to be marketed somehow, but what does the majority of the marketing is going to be the MLS and price. Okay. Getting it. So the reason why you market the home is number one, the seller expects you to do it. So you and number two is really to get more listings. We always say listings have babies. So for every listing that I take, I want to have 4 closings. I want to get 2 buyers off of that listing. I want to get another listing in the neighborhood, and I want to sell that house. Okay. You can't leverage buyers that way. If you have 1 buyer, you can't convert that into 4 closings. It just doesn't work. Okay. But with a listing, I can. Why? Because I have my name, my sign in the yard, and I'm marketing. Okay. And it's going to generate more business for me. Okay. How are you going to market a buyer? I've got a buyer. That doesn't work. It doesn't work the same way. It's night and day. So I get into the premium Nolly Team marketing plan, and I break that into 5 different things that we do. Now, I got to tell you, to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter what you do because marketing is really not for selling the home. It's basically for them to appease the seller Okay, because they're going to want to see you doing something to get their home sold. Okay, because that's now you could just go head to head with them and just argue that marketing's not going to sell your home. Da 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 da. How many sellers want to hear that? None. Or you can just do what they want. Okay, they want you to market the home. Market the home. Okay, doesn't matter. Like it's a small price to pay for the listing. Okay, and it appeases them. It's kind of gets them over the anxiety. So I get it. I break it into 5 categories. There's outdoor. There's internet. There's print. There's premium knowledge team marketing, and there is industry marketing, which is basically what is industry marketing. Okay, my brokerage and the MLS. Okay. So you can kind of go through this, and if you have any questions about any of these particular things that are on the marketing plan, you can reach out in school and just ask. But the reality is, I don't care if you had like everything completely different than I have. It doesn't really matter. Okay. It just matters that you have something to show that here's what I'm going to be doing to facilitate the sale of your home. Okay. And we call it now I do call it a marketing plan here. You see that? Here's the premium Nolly team marketing plan that will sell your home. So I'm letting you know that this is a marketing plan is all it is. But up here, I'm calling it the Nolly team sales system. Okay. So, so that's the marketing plan. And then I feel like we have time for one more. Who wants to do one more? Raise your hand. Let me see. Okay, one more. Okay, cool. All right, let's do one more document. I love my introverts. They don't like to put their camera on. I used to hate having my camera on. I'm not even gonna go into a story because we'll go over time. But I've got a story around that too. But I won't go into it. Let's actually, you know what? For number 3, I'm just gonna do these in the order that they're numbered here. I know I'm confusing some of you, but the third document is actually a special report. Now, in the listing appointment, I like to show them the marketing plan and the testimonials, quote unquote. Okay, the what I call real results. But this is another document that I have, and I think it's very, 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 very strategic. So this document, I'm going to show you how to use it, and some of you are already using it, hopefully. Some of you aren't. And it's the top 4 reasons homes don't sell. Now, did the seller ask for this? Not really, but in a way they did because sellers want to know that I'm gonna be successful for them. Okay, so part of me be showing them that I'm gonna have achieve success is showing them that I understand why homes don't sell. So if I'm showing you that I understand, like if I come to you and say, hey, let me show you the top 4 reasons why most real estate agents fail in the first year of business and how to avoid it. Most people want to know that, even though they don't even know that they want to know that information. And most other agents aren't going to share this with them. Okay. Well, because it just shows why a lot of agents suck. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. This is the truth about it. So here's the 4 reasons. Number 1, poor marketing. Okay. Now, in reality, you and I know that the marketing, what really sells? So it's marketing, bad photos, lousy agent, and price. What sells homes? Put
Price.
in the chat. What?
Price.
Price. I remember Tony DeCello used to have a class. This guy was a beast at listings. He said he would say the top 4 reasons homes don't sell: price, price,
Price and
price, and price. And that is true at the core. But how many sellers want to hear that? None. Well, you just want to lowball my price so you can get a big fat check. Okay, well, all right. Well, let's do it your way, Mr. Seller. All right. So we're gonna stack marketing. We're gonna do all kinds of marketing on it. We're going to take great photos because it is true that one reason that homes don't sell is bad photos. And the reason for that, now marketing is true, but the way we've kind of solved the marketing problem is through the MLS. We have a system in real estate that I've not seen in any other industry. It's just phenomenal. The MLS is incredible. So, but bad photos is so when somebody's buying a house, you have to understand it's the process of elimination. They're buying how many homes? In most cases, just one, right? So they're buying one house, but they've got a list of 22. So how many do they have to eliminate? 21. So buying is actually the process of elimination. That's what buying is. So the first thing that people do when they look at a house is they look at the photos. If they like the photos, then they look at then they read the description. If they like the description, then they look at how much is the price. Okay. So you got to have good photos, in my opinion. It always helps. The third thing is that sometimes there's a lousy agent. How many of you have worked with that agent that you don't want to work with, and you notice that that's that agent's listing, and you do everything you can to not have, you're not steering, but you really would hope that that your buyer doesn't want to look at that house, because there's lousy agents out there and we don't want to work with them. And then the last one I put down is price. Now, price should really be number one, but sellers don't want to hear that. Okay. Now we're almost at time, but let me just say it this way. I'm working with Michelle. Okay. I'm selling her house. And I've already gone through with Michelle. These are the top 4 reasons, Michelle, that homes don't sell. It's poor marketing, bad photos, lousy agent, and price. Now, we've been on the market 30 days. Michelle's already seen all the stuff that I've done, everything like that. We've had 2 open houses. The marketing, everything that I did is there. So I call Michelle. I say, hey, Michelle, we're at the 30-day mark. Remember I told you there's 4 reasons that homes don't sell? Remember we talked about that? The 4 reasons? Yeah, we talked about that at the listing appointment. Okay. Well, poor marketing. Now, you've seen the marketing plan, and remember you mentioned there was nothing you would add to it. So the marketing's in place. That's solid. So we already know that's good. Bad photos. Remember we had that drone fly through the front of your house, the front of your house, flew through the front door, flew out the back. I mean, the photos are amazing. In fact, you told me that you wanted to buy the house back after you saw the photos, right? So we know the photos are good, right, Michelle? You like the photos? Yeah, the photos are great. Now, Michelle, let me ask you a question. Do you have a lousy agent? You don't, do you? What do you think the problem could be why your home isn't selling? You're muted. What do you think that?
Price.
Oh, you think it might be price? You might be onto something there, Michelle. What do you think we should do about it? Now, you see how I did that? See, this is an anchor document. So what I anchored them into was that there's 4 reasons and only 4 that homes don't sell. I've already got the other 3 covered. So I'm doing my job. Now you got to do yours. Does it make sense? It's another psychological document. And that's how I use it, as the listing goes on to get my price adjustments and to get the price the way it needs to be if I didn't get the price correct at the beginning. Well, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Success with Listings podcast. If you are serious about taking your real estate career to the highest heights, making more money and helping more clients while working less hours and spending more time with your family, be sure to get your copy of my free book, Triple My Listing, absolutely free at successwithlistings.com. Now, you want to be sure that you subscribe to the podcast and check out successwithlistings.com to get your copy of my free book. Hey, I'll see you on the next one.